Just filed your 2024 income tax return? Now it's time to think about paying taxes in 2025. Hi, it's financial planner Sean Mullaney. Let's discuss. So I'm recording this in mid-April, just after April 15th. And so a lot of folks have now filed their federal income tax return for the year 2024. And here's the thing, don't just put it away just yet, because it can be a great tool for the early retired or even the later retired to use to pay their 2025 income taxes. I've got an example here of a married couple. They're both age 68 in 2025, and they just filed their 2024 tax return. And they're mostly living on traditional IRAs, which, by the way, the financial planners will tell you, oh, that's terrible. They're going to get crushed with taxes. And this couple is not impoverished, right? They're living on $120,000 in 2024 of traditional IRA withdrawals. So a lot of financial planners will say that's a terrible way to arrange your affairs. Oh no, 6 figures of traditional taxable withdrawals. Well, by the way, in 2024, they had a small savings account too. They pay an effective tax rate of 8.46%, and their marginal rate is 12% on the last dollar. So they're doing just fine. They probably deducted at 24% while they were working, doing just fine, being very inefficient according to many financial planners. But now they got to pay the 2025 taxes, and they might have even got spooked, right? They do their tax return, and the software spits out these 4 estimated tax vouchers. Oh, you got to pay estimated taxes. Well, that's not entirely true. Now, yes, they could just pay estimated taxes, but that means 4 times a year on time, they got to go to directpay.irs.gov and make an appropriate payment. That is perfectly valid. But they could use a number from their 2024 tax return and pay taxes only once and late in the year, not in April, not in June. Let's talk about that. So what they can do is they can go to their total tax number. I've got them at $10,360. And as long as they get 100% of that paid in by year end through IRA withholding, they're gold, right? In theory, they could win the lottery in December. They have $100 million of income. Well, okay, they'll have to write a big check, but they can do that between January and April 15th of 2026. The IRA withholding can protect them, and they can do it only once, and they can do it late in the year. They got to do at least 100% of last year's total tax, which is this $10,360. Where do you find that? That's generally found on line 24, this total tax right here. I've got the 1040 SR for them, but it could be just a regular 1040. My understanding is we got line 24 in either case. So what they do is they say, okay, I am going to, in October, November, December, go into my IRA account, my traditional IRA, generate a distribution, and then tell the financial institution, I don't want 10% withheld. I want 75%, 80%, 99%, whatever you need to have withheld to get to your total tax number, right? In most cases, 100% of last year's total tax number, bam, right? Generate the distribution, have most of it withheld, and as long as it's 100% of last year's total tax, on line 24 of last year's tax return, you're good for 2025. Now, I will say, Joseph and Mary, in my example, are below 150,000 of adjusted gross income. If they were at 150 or above, you're going to have to do 110%, but that's no big deal, right? So, you just do 110%. But think about the advantages of that. You get to do it once and only once, and you can delay to later in the year because withholding from an IRA is treated as occurring equally throughout the year, so it can be very powerful. So now's the time to start thinking about paying taxes for 2025, and your 2024 tax return could be a good thing to use to do that. Now, you probably don't want to do that if you're under age 59 and a half because of the 10% penalty, unless it's an inherited IRA. That's a great way to pay taxes. But, if you're a retiree, you're over 59 and a half, and you're taking a lot of your income for personal expenses from a traditional IRA, the one and done later in the year through IRA withholding could be a great way to pay federal income tax. Let me know what you think about traditional versus Roth, about paying taxes in retirement. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I will see you next time.